What's up, guys? We are back. Peach Fuzz episode 15, playoff edition, back-to-back days. How we doing, guys? Ian, how we doing?
First time doing this. I'm in for it. Yeah, fired up. Get back to watching some baseball tomorrow. It's been a few days off with no games, so I know everybody is kind of itching. I don't know like why. I mean, I don't know why they did it this way. Obviously, I'm sure there's a reason for it for scheduling and whatnot. But I'm sure everybody is going to be fired up midweek now to get out there and play their first playoff game after not playing a game after the last four or 5 days.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be exciting. So what we got tomorrow, 4A, 5A, 6A, and then the 25th, 3A through 1A, D1. We got 1A, D2 starting tomorrow, right? So about half and half. We want to just get back on here, chat on 3A to 1A, including that private private division thrown in there, which is really
that private division might be silly. I think there's going to be some of the most fun matchups we're going to find throughout the playoffs in that classification, I guess you can call it.
And what do you think about them seeding the 1 through 32? That's obviously new this year in the state of Georgia. I know we have like the power ranking system now to where it's scoring like you have a composite score that like builds throughout the year with strength of schedule and things like that. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I don't love the matchups that kind of are happening just because
you feel for some of those teams that played full region campaigns, whether it was in 3A or whatnot. I know some teams.
3A is not as bad. The private, when we get to the private, it's pretty.
But like a Greater Atlanta Christian who played in a region in 3A this year, you play a region. So like your strength of schedule is capped at some point, unless you like play like 10 straight big dogs to open the year, which is obviously nobody wants to do. You want to obviously stack some games in there, but it's kind of a disadvantage for those teams, I feel like, in this first year. But obviously it'll play out. Things are changing fluidly here every year.
There's some strategy too that's got to come into play. At some point, like for some teams, like I don't know, it's just like it seems like having the 1 and the 8 together with Harlem and Pickens, like that's pretty, having those two guys, the two of the top 3 teams in 3A in that same side. And then on the flip side, you get a team like Cherokee Bluff that hasn't had the best regular season, but was a title favorite probably coming into the year and probably still could be a title favorite. And they're matched up in North Hall squad. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. And then, even you get like a Peach County versus Calhoun second round potentially. And that's going to be a really good ball game, I think, in my opinion. Seeing what we've seen of Peach County, seeing what we've seen of Calhoun. Obviously, PV can give you a shot, but I'm already getting into it. Let's just get right into the 3A bracket here. We'll pull it up for you guys so you can see it a little bit. Kicking it off with Harlem. We kind of gave them a shout out yesterday, but 29-0, right? I believe on the year. So congrats to those guys on another big year. We potentially have a Harlem Pickens matchup from last year on the horizon. But start us off with that first quadrant. Got some good guys in there for sure.
Yeah, obviously I'm talking about Pickens, a team that lost some pieces from last year. Obviously two-way ACC guy in Connor Strauss had to Georgia Tech, but they came back reloaded this year and have performed really well. Obviously 24 future gamer AJ Rice has been as good as it gets in the state this year. I think 102 strikeouts. I think I saw, or I posted last week. He gave up 4 earned runs all year long and like 50 something innings pitched. Hit over 400 as well as a leadoff guy. Really just kind of set the table for that team in every facet, and the team kind of fell in place behind him. Christian Starks had a really big year, and he's going to be huge in the playoff run. He's had some big experience I think he started since he's a freshman there. So having him to play every year and now being one of the guys, he had a sub-2 ERA, 350 at the plate as well. So I think that whole lineup hit over 330, all the guys that played every day. So I think they're ready to roll. They've been hitting well. I went up there last weekend. They showed really well against a quality team. So I think they're ready. Obviously, that Elite 8 Harlem Pickens potential matchup is looming large with that being the game that knocked Pickens out last year. So I know that's on their plate. Whitewater, another team, and LaGrange, like you were just about to say, like you touched on them. I think those two have a shot to make a run as well. Whitewater has a ton of veteran experience on that team. Trent Ellington leading the way with them. But yeah, it should be pretty wide open. Obviously, you have the big dog with Harlan 29-0 and Pickens, but I think the teams that can make a run in that quad alongside those teams.
Yeah, and I was just looking, LaGrange was coming off of a pretty good year last year, but man, they played some good teams throughout the year. Out of region, they played Columbus, Callaway, Woodward Academy, guys like that. So Harris County, Prince Avenue twice early in the year. So I think they'll be ready to go. I think that, if we get that LaGrange Pickens matchup, I think that's a really, really good one in the second round. And then on the flip side too, Long County, our guy Kenny Pickens on Long County. I went down to see them last year in the playoffs versus Mary Persons. And I think they should have one of their big arms back, if I'm not mistaken. And I know they had a couple sophomores that were pretty good. And then Kenny Pickens, a senior for them, catches, pitches, kind of does it all. So yeah, keep an eye out for them against Whitewater. Like you said, Trent Ellington, massive year. He's kind of getting hot at the right time. Trey Robbins is having a really good year. I saw he posted his numbers the other day. So at the plate and on the mound. So those are some good matchups to kick us off. Avery, you hadn't seen any of those guys this year, right?
Yes, sir. I haven't seen any of these in the top left.
Yeah, no, you're good. I'll let you. Oconee County, Ian, Avery, y'all both saw those guys, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
I know you saw them late. I agree. Saw you jump in there and see what you saw. I know you have a few guys that really stood out for you with that team.
Yeah, obviously you've got Cole Johnson at the top, Georgia commit, and then I really like the shortstop for them, Isaac Smith. I'm committed Seton. Super physical kid, and then Carson. I don't know. Probably gonna butcher the last name. Do you know it, Ian?
I think it's Fox. So second base. Yeah, Fox. Yeah, he kind of does everything for them as well, man. Second base, lead. I think he's their SP1 as well. Really kind of sets the table. I think the sophomore first baseman, I'll definitely butcher his last name. I think it's William Rusatek, or I believe is close to that. Left-handed swing looked really good as well. They're a veteran squad. They had a tough region. I think it was them. Jefferson and Cherokee Bluff are all in the same region this year, kind of beat up on each other in that. I think they finished 1, 2, 3 in that region. So obviously they have Jefferson in the next round potentially in that series with West Lawrence, which is pretty huge on the table. But there's some fun ones in that one. Troup County, I know you're big on them as well, Huddy.
Yeah, I like those guys for sure. They definitely have some pieces. We got to see them early in the year at Georgia Dugout Club. And had just kind of a really scrappy lineup from top to bottom. The guy that stood out for me was Davis Monkus, sophomore pitcher, outfielder, left-handed arm for them. Kind of did it all for them. It looks like they actually have their stats on here. But yeah, I really liked him. I think he's been their go-to guy on the mound. Looking like, let's see. Yeah, this isn't the full season. But anyways, he had a big year.
No, sorry. I didn't even realize Dawson County in that quad as well. So it's kind of brutal.
Yeah, for sure. And that Jefferson West Lawrence matchup is kind of headlined with Eston Simpson versus Parker Bryant. That's one that I know was super intriguing for you. Two guys that you've really, really grown to like in the state. But yeah, that's going to be a tough one for sure. And Dawson is in that gauntlet of a region with North Hall, GAC, even White County, Lumpkin, and Pickens. So they're battle tested as well with their out of region schedule and region schedule. So don't be surprised if you see them bumping into the Elite Eight.
On the road though, it's tough seeding there with I think the 20 seed in that bracket. Would have been a little bit better for Dawson getting those games at home, but.
Oh, it is. They do have to go at Bullock. Yeah. I didn't even realize that. I saw bottom.
I just wanted to check. Yeah, me too. So I just wanted to check that. So yes, that's going to be an interesting.
Same thing for Jefferson traveling to West Lawrence. That's going to be a hike as well.
Yeah, 4-hour drive probably. I would imagine there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that one's going to be a good one for sure. Keep an eye on that one. Kicking off April 25th for those games. Moving up to the top right, the kind of the one that we've talked about a lot. We'll have our Class 3A previews coming out probably tomorrow or Thursday. Just with you guys starting on Friday, we're gonna let those hold off a little bit, but we'll have those ready to go. But man, this North Hall Cherokee Bluff, I think it's a matchup that we'll get. I mean, you can't count Lumpkin County out. They've been super competitive in the past. Mason Hester for them, so that's a key first round matchup that I think could be a really good one.
Yeah, writing up Bluff today a little bit with that 3A preview. I think they're a team that's got hot at the right time. They're showing as much power as we've seen out of any team in 3A.
Everybody's hitting by England, Bryce.
Yeah, I mean
Bubba.
the top. I mean 3 out of the 4 in the lineup have a combined 28 bombs between Bubba Coleman, Ethan England, and Bryce Fontenot, who has a ridiculous 13 homers this spring. Really just kind of stepping into an everyday role and just exploding. Also doing it on the mound for them. They have a deep pitching rotation. Gabe Gowder has been huge for them. They got some pieces behind them. Tucker Holton has been good. Landon Kemp has been really good. Landon Rollins as well. They're just a deep squad on both sides of the ball. Obviously made it to the state championship in 4A last year. Faced probably the best lineup in the state in Stars Mill and really just ran out of gas at the end there. But I think they're a team you have to watch. That North Hall matchup in round 2 is going to be big. Obviously, we will likely have somebody at that matchup if it happens. Can't really miss that. The environment last year at Bluff for the playoffs was crazy. I think I still have pictures on my phone from that Holy Innocents matchup that we were both.
Yeah, we doubled up.
It was packed. Like it was the most packed scene that I think deep. I've been at for a high school game around here. So. They travel well, especially at like a public park where they play. So it's pretty interesting how well they pack that place out. So yeah, I'm excited to see Bluff in the playoffs. We haven't even really talked about a guy like KT Thompson who can just.
That's what I was about to say. That's a guy that could get hot and lead the whole state in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like can be the best player in the country. I mean, in the state for sure. And he's batting I think 4th or 5th in that lineup. So. Yeah, you have to look out for them. If they get the pitching at the right time, they're going to hit. The power is showing up every day. So, yeah, that's a team you have to watch, especially in that Gabe Gowder, Branson Crawford matchup. It would be huge.
Yeah, and I saw Gowder, I guess, just broke maybe the innings record, some kind of couple records.
Wins. I think it was
wins. Yeah, wins in a regular season and total wins, I think, at 8 and 22. So yeah, I kind of kept waiting for them to get hot, and they were kind of rolling there a bit in region play, and then they ran into who was it? Oconee. Oh no,
probably Oconee County.
We just had a flash with my computer. Yeah, it was that Oconee County. They ran into them and ended up lost the first game of the series, and then ended up beating them the next 2. But yeah, keep an eye out for them. Like we said, it was a team we were super high on coming into the year. But man, they're in the playoffs. That's all that matters. And now now we'll see what they can do. Moving on down, this bottom right region. I mean, obviously Peach County being the 2 seed, you kind of have to call them the favorite. But in my opinion, it's pretty wide open. Outside of Peach, I think Mary Persons has Brady Chrisman back, who's been big for them. Obviously at the dish, he can kind of change a game in a swing. And I think they've been consistent enough on the mound to keep them in it. Adairsville, as the 10 seed, you're going to get your guy, Avery Jack Nelson.
Yes,
we're going to get to see him. Obviously, they'll see him early, and he'll give you a shot right away. But, yeah, outside of those, I'm keeping my eye on Calhoun as well. Obviously, haven't got to see Bainbridge this year, but yeah, kind of wide open here. Any other thoughts on this last quadrant here?
I mean, no crazy thoughts. Obviously, we touched on that potential Calhoun Peach County matchup round 2. I think that's good. I think Mason Peak is clicking at the right time. Obviously, Avery, you went and saw him a few weeks ago, up to 92. Been on the slow path, ticking up, and now the velo's kind of coming together really well with a really good curveball to match. And I think if he throws strikes in the playoffs, I think he could be as good as you're going to find as a SP 1 or 2 for them in the playoffs. So I think they have a chance to make a run if they get hot at the right time. Obviously, you can say that about anybody, but I think the pieces are there for The pieces are there for Calhoun. I think if you can get past a team like Peach County in the second round, that gives them a ton of confidence to make a run.
And just looking here, like, Mary Persons played guys like North Oconee, Hoko, West Lawrence. So, and they had
First Presbyterian in there as well.
Yeah, and they do have 2 wins over Upson Lee for a second round matchup that we can see. So, seeing guys like that a lot. Obviously, you have kind of the upper hand with scouting reports and things like that. So that's just kind of one of those examples that we talked about with this format, and you do get a chance of seeing somebody in that region. So yeah, 3A is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's probably not going to be what we expected. Especially with the Harlem and Pickens and LaGrange and Whitewater all in that same quad. I think something's going to get shaken up there. Obviously, North Hall, Cherokee Bluff, and Peach County, Calhoun. We'll see what happens. We'll definitely maybe try to catch some of those. Cherokee Bluff Lumpkin's kind of fun. I didn't get out to see Cherokee Bluff this year, surprisingly. Avery, you saw Bluff, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's on twice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I really can't believe I didn't see them this year. Season flew by, so maybe I'll catch that Lumpkin County Cherokee Bluff matchup. Maybe there was one other one I had my eye on too, Bremen and Raven, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But yeah, good stuff on 3A. Moving along to 2A. Ian, take us away. What you got on 2A?
Yeah, obviously you look at that top right, Morgan County and Appling County there. I think they're on a kind of a collision course. You throw Ringgold in the mix, who is as scrappy as you're going to find. They're kind of on that same mold as a Cherokee type team. They don't have that stopper as on the mound, but they have a bunch of guys that can get outs and pitch. I mean, deep into games as well. They're going to hit. They're going to steal bases as well. I know, Avery, you went and saw them pretty recently as well. A guy with I saw them.
Double header too, right?
Yeah, I saw them a couple times last spring as well. They're just, a gritty bunch. They got to face a team like Morgan County potentially in the second round with Artillery looking as good as to think he's ever looked in his career. Up to 93 recently, is getting more loose on the mound. Faced a tough injury from football this past fall. Kind of had a slow grind back to full health, and now he's looking well. Hudson Reed with 12 bombs, I believe, maybe more than that. I'm not sure. He kind of went on a tear and was hitting one every night. So I'd look on Twitter, and he's got another one posted. So he's been going off. They have a bunch of seniors on that team that have kind of grown up and played together on the same team for a lot of years. So I think that's going to play well on a playoff run here, as they're pretty upper class heavy as a squad. There's only, I think, 1 or 2 guys that play on that team underclass. So.
Yeah, and I remember that squad. I remember that squad too. MC Bulldogs. They were up at Lake Point early, like in my career at prep baseball. I'll never forget. Keon Johnson was on that team with those guys.
Exactly.
He hit 3 triples in a game, and he was the very first. No, I guess that was the second year, but no, I was going to get him on the 13U team. He was the first JFG invite I ever sent. I was like, this kid's unbelievable. He just hit 3 triples, and then obviously it was Keon Johnson, but. That was a really fun team that came through Lake Point.
Shout out to Danny Tillery and those guys down there. They've really been together for a long time, and it's showing up on the baseball field now.
Yeah, Avery, any touches on Morgan County? I know you got a chance to see them in a doubleheader. Obviously, we got Tillery, Reed. Anybody else catching your eye to keep an eye on as we get rolling?
The super deep. I can't remember what year he was. Caleb Richardson, I believe. Lefty for them. He's had a few hits for me across the DH.
Yeah.
Here he is.
Skylar McCoy on that squad as well.
Lefty. Is he throwing? Is he pitching for him? Did he pitch it all?
Pitching and hitting as well. Game out back. He threw the big home run. Kind of does it all for that team. Probably one of the only underclassmen to really get playing time for that squad. So he's kind of trying to do everything for them, and it's going to be a big piece as they move forward.
Yeah, Richardson's an uncommitted junior for them. He's really smart as well.
Yeah. Moving down to this bottom half, the eyes just go straight to Franklin County. Lost some games as of late, but I know you guys saw, Ian, you saw them probably the most of anybody. Obviously Ty Peoples leading the way for them, but what else you got on them?
Yeah, Keith Harbin up the middle's got a really big piece for them as well. Kind of getting some playing time at the top, either the top or the bottom of the order to flip it over. Kind of does it all, whether defensively or at the plate. Hudson Huff has started to get some playing time as well. A freshman for them,
kind of
one of the more athletic players you're going to find in the class. Yeah, we were texting back and forth basketball highlights because he's in the middle of finishing region play and going to play travel ball and dropping like 20 and 10 on the weekends. So like
he was averaging 20 over the weekend.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This is the type of athlete that they're just inserting in the lineup here late in the season as a freshman, can kind of just fit in center field to fill as a defensive replacement for Ty, or you can put him really anywhere. He can pitch as well, get outs on the mound. So I think that's the guy to look for. And gaining experience right now as they make a playoff push is huge for him. It's going to be a major piece for them in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's fun. He pitched a really, really good game for us in junior future games, and we saw him a lot with Divine. So he's definitely a fun player to keep an eye on. Didn't peg him as a hooper when I first met him, but
he's got some Jason Williams in the game, bro. It's pretty smooth.
And it was like I was watching those highlights, and he was like obviously like Euro stepping, like it was going up with his left, like he's right-handed. Like every single all the layups in that video were like going up with his left off of like his non-dominant foot. So it was like it was pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive, yeah.
At Lake Point too, so we had to show him some love with the Rise Hoops guys that we used to share office with. But yeah, keeping an eye on that one. Obviously, Redan down there at the bottom, matches up potentially with a Stevens County team that's won some really big games. Avery, you got to see Stevens County, right? Against to Kell, right?
Yeah, they have a really good freshman in the two.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Those are freshmen that you really liked.
Duke Collins.
Yep.
Avery was the man at finding freshman this spring.
Yeah. He really looked the part. I think he's a pretty legit football player as well.
Yeah, so that'll be a big one to look out for there. Union County up there by Young Harris, where I used to be at. I don't know if my buddy's still up there coaching that team or not, but good to see them back in the playoffs. I know they've had a pretty strong team, in previous years, dating back a little bit. But yeah, Franklin County, Stevens County, Redan, keep an eye on them. Burke County, we didn't get to see them this year, but being the 5 seed, obviously you got to look at them in that quad. Moving up to the top right, kind of highlighted by Pierce County. Our guy we've had in South Georgia got to see Pierce a couple times this year. But, looking at like a Sonoraville Columbus matchup, I think that's one of the bigger ones in this 2A bracket. Obviously Griffin Long, Ian, one of your guys you've really come to like over the years. And you got Eli Blue, Hudson Kinman as well. So I think that's a big matchup to keep our eyes on first round.
Yeah, I mean, especially if Sonoraville can get that game 1 win and go up 1-0 in that series, as the underdog, be going on the road to Columbus, where the environment's kind of electric down there.
That's always good baseball down there.
Yeah, they kind of show out for their teams in that area, so it's good to see that. So I know they're going to be juiced up, and Griffin's going to be fired up. Another guy who's kind of gets after it on the basketball court as well. I saw a bunch of dunk tapes from him this past spring as well. But yeah, that's a fun one. I think those 3 that you mentioned, Blue, Hudson, and Griffin Long, will be a massive impact for that team. I think if they're swinging it well, because I know Griffin's a big piece in the lineup as well for them. So if they're all 3 of those swinging well with him on the mound, I think they have a chance to win a series and can carry that momentum on a little bit further.
Yeah, Columbus has a guy in Michael Nodelman, who we've seen a lot of video of, over the last year or so, that's really ticked up on the mound. And then you have Caden Bryans, outfielder that we got to see at fall top prospect game at Clemson. So good squad there. Really super nice field. I think they're like an all-turf facility. We've been trying to get down there for a bit. Anybody in the Columbus area that knows the people with the new minor league park, let us know. We've been trying to get in there for a showcase so we can get into that area, but haven't had much success finding a contact for those guys. So yeah, let us know if you know anybody at the new Columbus Stadium. Moving on to the last one here in 2A. Who we got? Callaway, a team that, Avery, you got to see. Blake Harrington, QB1 competitor type that's going to go out there and do what he needs to do in the playoffs when his team needs him. So keep an eye out for them. But obviously Rockmart, I think for me, probably Rockmart, one of the favorites in this 2A class. They're really rolling this year. They got 2 lefties in Hunter Atkins and Trey Luke that are 2 of the tougher guys to hit in the state, in my opinion. And then you guys, got guys like Rob, Yagu, Neelan, all those guys. It's a well put together squad that's ready to make a run. Where did they finish? Where did they finish last year?
I'm pretty sure they lost in that controversial game.
Yeah, North Cobb Christian. That's right.
North Cobb Christian in the
with the
Final Four with the home run ball.
Power line.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did lose in a heartbreaking fashion to probably one of the best teams.
Trey hit that too, right? Trey hit that?
I believe, yeah, Trey hit that.
You were there?
No, Logan was
Avery
there.
was there. Logan was there.
Logan was there, yeah. There was like conflicting
I remember, yeah.
One ump said it was a homer, then they didn't come together. There was no conference. It was a bunch of mishaps. Obviously, North Cobb Christian was one of the best teams, and they went on to win the state championship, had some big pieces on that team. But Rockmart's looking for revenge this year. They brought almost their entire team back from that squad from last year. Everybody's a year better, so I think they have a chance to make a run in 2A this year. Obviously, no North Cobb Christian in 2A now as they're moving on to the private bracket. But
and Prince Ave,
and Prince Ave, yes. So like it's pretty insane to see, and they have a chance to make a run to the Final Four. Not to say easy. Nobody has an easy run, but the path is there for them to make a run back to where they were last year and maybe have a chance to finish the job.
Yeah, 9-game win streak to finish the year. They got the sweep over North Cobb Christian. They played guys like Bowden, out of region, Cedartown, Calhoun, so Noonan, North Paulding, Pepperell, Troop. So they're ready to go. I forgot they beat Noonan 2-1. That's a big game for them. Were you at that one?
No, not that one.
No. That wins over, lost to North Paulding 7-6. So keep an eye out for those guys. I
was at that game for about 5 innings. It was brutal weather, and I did go home early. So I did get some hate on the internet for leaving that game early. But it was like 38 degrees and spitting weather out. Yeah, I know.
Willie was there too, right?
Willie was there. We left early. The weather was horrendous. It was out of conference game midweek. Apologies.
Speaking of hate, I totally missed Wayne County beating Ware County, sweeping them. Wayne County guys, that's on me. We made our first mishap in the Power 25 this week. Obviously, both really strong teams, but that's the first one that I've really missed. I don't know how I missed that. Just trying to get it out today with the brackets and everything. So good sweep there, Wayne. Obviously, both guys in the playoffs. We like what Wayne's doing. We talked about it yesterday on here. We had a guy at Ware quite a bit. So both really good teams, but really big sweep headed into the playoffs for Wayne. So, that's on me for that one. Moving along, what we got? Any other takes on here? Avery, any standouts for Callaway that you really like to keep an eye on? Who else they got on the mound besides Blake?
Slade Hunt, uncommitted junior, 3-game one for them. He threw well just going up against Tillery. And then LaShawn Gates, shortstop for them.
Yep, he played well when I saw them at Redan last year.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, that's a good one. I think that's a really fun matchup, Callaway Rockmart, if we do get that one. So that's one to definitely keep an eye on. What we want to do, private next. Go ahead and get into the private a bit.
Yeah, because this is like the most outrageous.
Crazy. We got buys.
These are Elite Eight matchups in the first 2 rounds. A lot of these spots,
a North Cobb Christian versus potentially Holy Innocents in the second round.
Yeah, that's silly. Insane. That's a Final Four type game there. You have Weber School versus Kings Ridge first round. Whitefield Academy versus Padilla. These Georgia names
I say Padilla.
Will ruin me to the day I die. I'll feel that.
Fighting Colin Thomas's.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we talk about that top half of the bracket. I mean, obviously North Cobb Christian, Holy Innocent second round. I mean, and then you're gonna have a matchup between Aquinas or Heritage Christian and Prince Ave, and then Elite Eight. That matchup's insane. Well, however it looks,
And Athens Academy had a pretty good year. I tried to get out to see them at one point. I was pulling up their schedule and didn't get a chance to, but yeah, that's definitely some big matchups right away.
Mount Pigsaw, Calvary Day is huge.
Yeah, so I was just looking at Athens. Yeah, I mean, I think North Cobb Christian, Prince Ave is kind of the big matchup. I think I'm kind of keeping my eye on. But, man, Holy Innocents, we saw them, like we said, in the playoffs last year versus Bluff. Avery, you got to see them as of late. They have a freshman in Bryce Floyd.
That's pretty electric.
Looked awesome. He's been a guy that we kind of had on our list for a while, and I'm really glad you got to see it.
And that's like just one of many from their arm bar they have there.
Amari, Davis Harper.
Davis Harper.
Yeah. Who's the other one? They got one more big one.
Davis Jabali.
I believe he's injured, if I'm not mistaken, or is coming back from an injury. Yeah. So that's a tough loss.
And then bats wise, they got Matt Luigs, right? Where's he going? Brown? Harvard?
Yes, sir.
Brown?
Brown.
Gosh, yeah. So that North Cobb Christian potential, that's a really, really good one there.
Grant Bradley's been swinging it really well for them as well. Sophomore.
Yep, top prospect games guy.
For sure.
There's an uncommitted 26 I like for them, Dawson Radichevsky. He's always
yeah. I've been seeing some good video on him.
Doing it.
Played some good teams too later in the year, so I think that they'll be ready to go. I was trying to pull up their, and if I'm not mistaken, they played some pretty good out of state or out of region teams. And they played guys like Whitefield Academy, Mount Vernon. So they played Kings Ridge, Walker. They played some of these teams, which I guess is good for them. Seeing some of these guys potentially playing someone like Kings Ridge in the later rounds. Guys like Lovett, they lost 2 to Lovett, lost 6-5. Played Wesleyan. So they've played some teams. Played Dunwoody, lost in 8 innings to Dunwoody. Hillgrove, the game you were at, Avery. So, yeah, that's a good one there. North Cobb Christian, man, I think that if they could just find a bit of consistency on the mound, that lineup is as good as anyone, in my opinion, with Tambora, Riley Hutchinson, Carson Bruce, JD, your guy, Avery, why am I blanking? True Stafford. Yeah, so he's having a monster freshman year at the plate. I think he's hitting over 400. He's turned into a starter on the mound for him. And I was talking to them at Georgia Darrell Club, and he really hasn't even pitched that much. And he's like a mid-upper 80s guy. So he's been big for them. I'm not sure if Carson Bruce is back or not on the mound. I know they had some good games in Vegas. I know he's been swinging it really well. So look for their lineup to keep them in it. But I think if they could find
it's so young. It's so young too, man.
Oh, yeah. 3 of the top 27. Newell's about as consistent as they come behind the dish. Leads that team as a junior. And then who am I missing? I'm missing one. Spears Martin.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's a chance. That's Bash Bros, but with Spears and Riley, they could go back-to-back at any moment. They went back-to-back for me when I saw them against Gordon Lee. So they've been a team that I've really liked from the beginning. They've kind of hung around in the rankings for us despite losing some games, but I think that they got a shot to make a little run at it. Moving on down. Gosh, this one's tough too. Kings Ridge with a 12 seed, Whitefield with a 13 seed, and then you got Calvary Day and Providence in this bracket. So, yeah, that's a lot going on there.
Yeah, you're facing tough competition in every round, whoever you are, whether you're a top seed or a low seed. In this quad here, I don't know who comes out. If Kings Ridge gets the pitching, their bats can get hot and really just score a ton of runs at any time.
Lee Holt and Chip are swinging it really, really well right now. They both have a few bombs to finish the year, so that's big for them.
that's an issue for any other team because if they're swinging it well, they got guys on base at all times, so they're going to score a ton of runs. Chip's power, if he's locked into plays, might hit 5 bombs in the playoffs within a hurry. So yeah, that's huge for them. That Whitefield Academy, Peyton Robideau, Colin Thomas matchup is going to be huge. I think that's really fun one on paper if we get that.
Yep. Just looking at Calvary Day, they played a pretty heck of a tough schedule. Hebron Christian, beat Sequoia, lost 2-0 to Mount Perrin. They played Lee County, beat Lee County 12-5, lost to Lovett 4-3, lost to Effingham County 4-3, lost to Wayne County 2-1. So this team is ready to go. They went out to Vegas, right? Played some really tough teams. St. John Bosco, that's a pretty good team. Valor Christian. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I have no idea how that's gonna shake out. I like all 4 of those teams. Avery, you saw Providence is go on a tear to sweep region to end the year. So yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to watch shake out. 4, 5, 13, 12 seeds. Weber School in the mix. Avery, you got to see them early in the year. They got guys like Sammy Wilson that can really play. So keep an eye on that first round matchup. That might be one we have to pop over to Kings Ridge to the new field for. Calvary Day, just thinking about them a second. Quinn Johnson, lefty for them, been leading the way. Carter Hampton has been swinging it pretty well for them as well. So yeah, that's going to be fun to watch shake out. That's a lot going on there. So moving right along, same thing here. I mean, this is kind of the trend for private. This is going to be pretty crazy to watch shake out. So
I don't know who comes out of this.
Yeah, no clue. Yep, with Lovett, Landmark's been playing really good as of late. Trinity Christian, Fellowship Christian, even Walker and Wesleyan. Yeah, that's
that Fellowship Christian Walker matchup is going to be one of the more competitive ones we're going to see in this whole bracket. It should go 3 games. I think both lineups are going to really hit. Obviously, there's a couple pitchers at the top for both teams that should have a stellar game 1, 2. But that game 3 is going to be competitive if we get there. So I don't know who's going to come out on top of that one, really. Even that Landmark Christian, Trinity Christian lineup. That Trinity Christian lineup is scary. They hit. Yeah. It's deep. They hit. Senior heavy. Logan Moss has been banging. I mean, it's been consistent.
Troy Ford as well. Troy Ford's got what? Double-digit bombs.
Yeah, I believe. And they got a stopper on the mound, too, at the top with Dylan Stiltner as well. Who's been up to, I believe, 97 this spring. I haven't seen it up to that high, but I saw it up to 94 early with a really good slider and changeup as well. So, I mean, if they get rolling, if they get past, we might have a Taylor Kassan, Dylan Stiltner.
He's been throwing. He had a really good year on the mound.
Yeah, he's been huge for them on both sides. So I think that game 1 matchup is going to be pretty massive there. So I'm excited to see that potentially have a guy there for that one. It might be
assuming that you get Tyler Fallman, our senior future games guy. Assuming you get him game 1. Grant Addison in the mix for them. And just peeking over at their schedule, they're kind of the same way. A lot of these private schools, have really upped their out of region schedule as of late. It seems
a lot of them feel like they played 4A region schedule. Like I think Holy Innocents played a 4A region schedule. Correct?
Oh, they did.
Yeah. So these teams are battle tested. A lot of them played region ball this year, so they're playing good teams that are facing quality competition night in and night out. So it's really confusing me now looking at this bracket with all the teams that are in it.
Yeah, Walker playing North Hall, Holy Innocents, South Paulding, Roswell, Kell, Buford, Tallulah Falls. So it's going to be interesting to see. And so many of these games, like just looking at this stretch that they have here, like with Weber, Whitefield, Landmark, Vernon, Wesleyan, Mount Perrin, like these guys all beat up on each other. Nobody was the clear favorite in this region. Obviously, Mount Perrin ended up getting it done for that region championship, but I think it's a bit of anybody's game. Everybody pretty much has one big arm. Whitefield with Robideau, Wesleyan with McCollum, Mount Perrin with Fredette, Fellowship. Just has a bunch of young arms. So their lineup is what's going to keep them in it. So it's going to be pretty crazy to shake out. I forgot that top right was looking like that. That is pretty crazy there.
And Griggs going to carry that lineup at Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Griggs. Yeah, completely forgot about Griggs, too. That's a big one. Same thing here. We get GAC thrown in this bottom right. It's we get a GHC Mount Perrin matchup, game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, really? That's like, yeah. It's that one will be a lot of fun. I think that one's pretty inevitable. GAC as a 15 seed is a bit of a sleeper in my opinion. When I got to see them against Dawson County, I thought they looked really, really good at the dish. Denzel Watkins looked awesome on the mound the day I saw him. They need Trace Joyner to have one of his starts that he's had. There's been a big consistency there, but I think if he has a start, Denzel Watkins,
Jacoby Bones has been swinging it really well. I mean, he's been hitting really well.
And whether he's throwing to win a series or to keep them in a series, I think if they get to that game 3, it gives them a shot. But that's a round 2 matchup I'm really keeping my eye on.
Yeah,
Mount Vernon versus Hebron is an interesting one too. Mount Vernon's really well coached with Jeremy Beckham, guy that I actually played for back like 16U summer. So he does a really good job with those guys. Avery, did you got to see them once, right?
Yes, sir, against Whitfield.
Pretty young, pretty young or no?
Yes, sir. It's kind of a good mix. They've got senior Nate Thomas at the top, uncommitted kid. He's super athletic. Bobby Bastick.
Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of.
And then Hudson Forrest, uncommitted junior as well.
Junior future gamer, he swings it. So man, this one's gonna be fun. We all gotta fill out a bracket. I don't know how I'm gonna fill this one out, but this is definitely one that if you get this right, like this is the NCAA bracket. If there could be one,
this would be a 1%er at the end.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. There's just so many good teams, and then like some of these guys we don't really know much about are gonna sneak up and beat somebody. So yeah, that's gonna be crazy to watch shake out. All right, moving along. Where we at? 42 minutes, not too bad here. Couple left to go. We'll go 1A, Division 1. Just kicking things off, man. Gordon Lee's good. Gordon Lee is really good. I got to see them twice this year. Aiden Goodwin was probably one of the better 25 arms that I've seen this year, and we've never seen him before. The dude's like 6'6", 210. It was like 92 whenever he wanted it, and he was going heavy curveball slider mix, really at will, like whenever he wanted to throw it. He threw the curveball earlier in counts. He threw the slider, late in counts for big swing and miss. So yeah, obviously being the 1 seed, the favorite coming into this thing. But then you take a look down this bracket and you see Washington County on the other side, who also has one of the top arms in the state in Ty Mobley, with one of our top freshmen as well, and Rylan Jenkins. So yeah, I think that's kind of the one I keep my eye on. I don't know much about these other guys. Banks County, we did get to see Avery. We'll let you touch on them in a minute. Elbert County, we got to see them at Georgia Day Out Club. I know they have one big arm. A lefty arm that can really beat anybody. So yeah, kind of up in the air there, but Gordon Lee stands out for me in that one with what they got going on.
Yeah, I'm with you on those ones. I'm looking at this bottom half of the bracket actually with a potential Vidalia Social Circle matchup in round 2 has my interest there. I think that's something that has the potential to be really good baseball. Just looking at a lot of these teams we had a chance to see in 1A here. Bremen we saw early in the year, Model, a team that went on, I think, started the year 21 or 23 straight wins, 23-0 to start the year, I believe. Reese Groban was huge for them. Sorry, just bouncing around here as I look through this bracket.
No, and that's kind of where we're at with these, just not being able to see all these teams, even though we did see a handful. A team like Pepperell is really rolling at this point. They beat Model for the region championship. So keep an eye on them. Bleckley County has our guy.
Raven County as well, with Chase Alonzo.
What's his name? I'm blanking. At Bleckley. Bremen versus Raven County is a fun one. I think that's that one I was kind of eyeing, just to get to see Bremen one more time with Carter Allen, and then, like you said, getting to see Chase Alonzo up at Raven County. What else? Avery, what you got? Banks County. What are we looking at? Chase Morrison.
I think the biggest question for them is kind of arms, because they had Steer, he had TJ.
Oh, he did. Did not know that.
And then Gavin Sears is kind of banged up right now, but he's having a ridiculous year at the plate. I think he has 11 or 12 bombs.
Yeah.
And then they've got 27 catcher for them, Judge Schmakel.
Oh, yeah, Divine. Yep. I know that you like him.
Yeah, and then, Morrison, like you said, he's going to have to kind of eat a lot of innings for them. And then I'll pop down to Social Circle. I saw them against Banks early in the year. They're really well coached, gritty group of kids. And then also Pepperell, I saw them pretty early against Cedartown. The same thing, well coached, gritty group. Everyone kind of does a little bit of everything for them.
Mm-hmm. And that's how a lot of these teams are. It's what's so impressive for me. There's like so many of these small school teams. Like I think I showed up to, what was that, Prince Ave versus Crawford County last year with Andrew Hammock when he shoved. And like Crawford County had like 10 dudes out there. And it was like, all right, you're coming in from left to throw, you're coming in from second, and they all get it done. That's what's fun. Some of these smaller schools is they have guys that can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Even a team like Jeff Davis, who's been as good as anybody in the lower regions the last couple of years. Their team, I think.
Yeah, let me pull up our guy down in South Georgia. Got to pop over and see them a bit. Let's see. Perry. Jeff Davis. Yeah, and they were one of those teams that went on a pretty good run this year. Looks like, Trayton Webster, uncommitted 26, left-handed bat for them. Looks like he can run a bit. Malachi Smith, senior outfielder in the leadoff spot. Bruton Parker commit, Jonathan Bohannon will be a guy on the mound and at the plate for them. So it looks like they got some guys. Georgia Southwestern commit, another two-way guy, Colby Beach. So yeah, definitely a team to keep an eye on. Obviously, being the 2 seed, coming in as a favorite for this 1A division. Anybody else? Worth County, Avery Kilcrease is having a really big year for those guys. Guy we've got to see a lot of. So if we see that, Jeff Davis, Worth County matchup, I think that's a really big one, especially in the second round. Fannin County, we got to see a little bit of. They're kind of an interesting group that does have some pieces. So model Fannin County, if that happens, I think that's a really good second round matchup. So yeah. Anything else on these guys? I think we kind of touched on most of it. Haralson County, I know they have a couple guys that we've seen. Tristan Arrowwood is a sophomore for them that we've got to see a lot of in the preseason. He was at preseason All-State, good arm, good bat for them. Vidalia, another team, really well coached, former junior college coach, and they got guys like Caden Ridge Nance, Patel, what's his first name?
Veer.
Yeah, Veer. Yep, Veer Patel for them. So that's another team. Like you said, that Vidalia Social Circle matchup. I think that's
gonna be interesting
in the second round. So yeah, good stuff there on the 1A Division 1. Finishing it off with 1A Division 2. Ian, I'll let you touch on Bowden a bit. Did you end up getting to see Bowden this year or no?
No, I didn't end up getting down there. But, yeah, last year. But
Huggins is obviously leading those guys. Played some good teams. So obviously they're over in that bottom right quadrant. Let me pull that bracket up. Sorry.
I got you. I have it up there. We're good.
Oh, sweet. Got it. Sweet. Thanks. So yeah, Bowden's on there. You got teams like Wilcox County with future gamer Jake Howell, and who is their other arm? They got one more big arm. Yeah, had a really good year, 18-7. Johnny Nutt for them, another left-handed arm. So you're going to get two lefties with them, and two really good lefties at that. Two guys that throw a lot of strikes. So that's kind of a team that I'm keeping my eye on. Obviously, being the 1 seed, but man, playing Shealy County round 2, that's definitely a tough one. Irwin County, obviously in that region, in that bracket as well, with Baconton. So that's 4 really good teams in that that quadrant. I think you got to keep your eye on.
Thad Royal is kind of a big name for Irwin. It's kind of
What are we? Who's our South Georgia sleeper?
Okay.
Yeah. Can't forget about that.
Kind of popped off that.
Yeah, top prospect games. He showed up at top prospect games. Was like 88, 90, up to 91.
Spinning
it. And then we kind of followed him throughout the summer. And same thing. I think it was just one of those things to where velo dipped a little bit later in the summer, but he never really had that velo. It was kind of a unexpected jump. Had been working out for football, so strength kind of came in. So he's definitely another one you got to keep an eye on. Good shout out there to Thad Royal. I think he's going to be at top prospect games as well. Looking over at a couple other of these, Crawford County, a team I mentioned, they're really experienced. I remember they were pretty young when I got to see them at versus Prince Ave last year, and they have Andrew Hammock coming back as long as he's healthy, which I think he is. Kennesaw State commit for them. Really good arm. He's going to compete. Let me see. Doesn't look like they have their roster in. But that's a team you got to keep your eye on just with the experience that they have. Playing teams like Upson Lee, Pepperell. They played Wilcox County early in the year. Mary Person. So I think that about does it. Anything else, guys, that we missed in the playoffs that we were talking about?
Of course, we missed something in these two episodes, but we're going to be out there trying to cover it all. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I'm already stressed. I'm missing something, and the games haven't even started yet, and I'm like, I've missed something. Like I'm already behind.
Yeah, and guys, we are going to do, instead of like our scout blog, since we have see most of the teams that we'll see, we're just going to do straight peach performers each week from each round. So they're not peach performers, playoff performers. Sorry. So we're going to be hunting down stats for those. So keep us in the loop. Anybody with some big playoff performances on the mound at the plate, we're definitely going to be reaching out to coaches on those. So we're going to try to put those together each week. I don't even know where to start on the 25th for day games. What is that? Friday, right? Friday, Saturday. Any favorites for you guys to go to on Friday? Any thoughts yet? Avery, I know you're all over the place.
Yeah, was I Whitewater maybe?
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that first round matchup for sure.
Yeah, I got a couple on the list I'm trying to choose between. I'm still in between tomorrow, which is crazy. I know I think where I'm gonna be, but it's still I'm still double second guessing myself here. Where am I gonna miss something? But no.
Yeah, and I would
like a lot of baseball to come. We're not gonna miss.
I would like to see something I haven't really seen Friday. Just with a lot of these teams that we haven't got a chance to see this year. I was looking at 2A. I think you got to go to a game in this private division, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm definitely going to hold out, hopefully, for Mount Perrin GHC. That one's really fun. Walker Fellowship is so intriguing as well. Driving back over to Trinity, I was going to try to get over to see them when I was over at Noonan, but that game ended up going long. I really want to see Landmark Christian with Taylor Kassan. Man, that's going to be tough for sure. Well, sweet, guys. Anything else before we get rolling tomorrow? Weather looks promising to kick us off, so pumped about that.
It's a good start at least. At least get one game in. That'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks spotty. I think we may be okay. I think we might be okay, hopefully. Game threes, we'll keep an eye on for Thursday, right? Yeah, game three's Thursday. And then we'll get going. The schedule is what throws me off. Like I always have to like go, like even though I know it, I have to like go back and look like when's 5A, when's 4A, when's 3A.
Yeah, and it's early starts because it's double headers too. So like keep that in mind on your travels this week.
Tickets, yeah, I haven't made a mistake in a while, but like the first year I was scouting director, I like popped up at I just saw Kel on here. Cherokee versus somebody in the playoffs, and luckily I know everybody at Cherokee, so I just like text somebody and got in. But like they're like, oh, it's sold out on GoFan. So like there literally wasn't any tickets. So obviously that won't happen this year, but that was a funny thing that happened one year for those guys. I saw some progress on their field. Is already in the works. It's just not too far from here, but looks like they're going to have a pretty legit facility, all turf, North Hall type scoreboard as well. They're going to have going in there, so that'll be really cool. I think they're hoping for fall of 26 or winter of 26, maybe somewhere in there. You know how those plans go with building stuff, so hopefully we'll get to see that here in the next year or so. I was scrolling back through 4A, 5A, making sure we didn't miss anything. But yeah, guys, like we mentioned, check back on our 6A, 5A, and 4A, team previews or playoff previews that we did. Those were pretty fun to do. Talked about some sleepers, talked about some really key matchups. We got the same thing coming out tomorrow. We'll probably put 3A out tomorrow. And then 2A, private, 1A, and so on. So we'll have those up as well. Those are kind of a fun read to get you rolling into the playoffs. Like I said, keep us posted on some big playoff performances. We want to highlight you guys. I don't know. When do you think we'll go live again? Just keep it on Sunday again. Recap round one?
I guess you'll see us on Sunday. I mean, it'll be right after game threes.
On Saturday.
On Saturday between 3A and so forth. So I think everybody be juiced up, ready for the playoffs. I think we have a day off on Monday.
Yeah, so, that's what I was just looking at. And then you get back at it 29th and 30th. And then
so like
first and second.
As of right now, Sunday night. You guys obviously reach out if you want to do Monday again. But you'll see us Sunday night. Three episodes or 2 episodes, 3 episodes in a week. Yeah, let's do it, dude. Why not?
Yeah, good stuff. Yesterday did seem like we had a lot of guys watching yesterday, so appreciate the love there. Remember, all of the video, all of the podcasts are on YouTube. We're keeping them in there for now. We'll try to get them consolidated and get them on everything, all platforms as we go. But it's been really fun to get this finally like consistent this year. I know this was a big project for Ian. Avery jumping on late. He's kind of been itching to get on here and talk a little bit, so he'll get better as we go. It's been a lot of fun. We're excited for the playoffs kicking off tomorrow. I'm going to Central versus Maynard Jackson. I've decided it. I know y'all are up in the air, so excited for that. Excited for that one. I kicked off the year with Central. Feels right to get back and see them again, and I really like the Maynard Jackson squad. Haven't got a chance to see Charlie Schroep throw, who got the Atlanta Public Schools Player of the Year, Pitcher of the Year for them. So they've been doing a really good job with a lot of their stuff, highlighting a lot of their guys. Jackson, North Atlanta, Mays, handful of other schools in that area. They're doing a really good job of highlighting those guys. So been a lot of fun to watch that. Watch that team over the last couple weeks or so. They've really been putting out a lot of good stuff on their squad. So excited to get over there and see those guys. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up? Right at an hour. We got 30 seconds to spare.
No, I'm excited to see everybody this week. It's my favorite time of the week at the ball field. So let's play some baseball and hide from the rain and let's go chase a rain.
Yeah, fun. Definitely. And you were rocking the All-American game merch.
The loudest hoodie I think we've ever put together in all of history. But
I
can only wear it
Miami.
in the house. Yeah, I can only wear it in the house. But it's tough too.
But I was gonna mention, like, be sure to check out our new Prep Baseball shop. Our guys have done a really good job putting that stuff together. They've kind of went all out. They had a big kind of photo shoot type deal, advertising a lot of the new merch. Y'all have the new rope hat on. I have the green with the normal logo here. Avery's rocking one of the new hoodies. So a lot of cool stuff on there. I think we'll have the store at Lake Point pretty stocked up. So excited to see some new stuff in there. It's came a long way. I will say that.
Yeah.
I'll never forget 2019. 2019, we're in like a little tiny store at Lake Point, and we're selling like purple and yellow PBR logo shirts, like because they were related to college colors. So we had like orange and royal blue for Florida, purple and yellow. So like the logos and everything, it's came a really long way. So it's been fun to watch develop. So check that out. Shop.prepbaseball. Yeah, shop.prepbaseball.com for all your prep baseball merch. So yeah, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's been a lot of fun. We're excited to kick things off tomorrow. Keep us posted. Big performances, all that good stuff. Big matchups. We want to try to be as many places as we can. We'll be covering 4 games tomorrow. 5 games tomorrow. 5 games tomorrow. So super exciting stuff there. Stay tuned on Twitter. We'll have some post-event stuff on Instagram. I'll try to get what I can with Instagram stuff. And yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you guys out at the fields tomorrow.
Hey, let's have a week.
Avery, close this out. Let's have a week.
Let's have a week.